I always thought a wedding dress would feel like a hug, soft and sure. But in Harbor Light Chapel that day, it felt like a harness tight at the ribs, bright under the glass like a spotlight. I hadn't asked for. The pastor lifted the mic. The crowd leaned in, and Nathan Carver looked at me, then through me and said, "No, not a stutter, not a mistake, just no." The gasp broke across the pews. A couple laughs slipped out. Someone even clapped like the show was over, and I stood there holding a bouquet that suddenly felt like evidence, thinking, "Yeah, that happened." Outside, the sun was rude on Lake Union cameras, tilted like periscopes. As I walked the gauntlet, my mother squeezed my arm, my dad's jaw was a hammer, and my best friend Tasha just said, "Head up, babe, breathe." That night, I stared at her ceiling until morning put on her green sweater. Left my buzzing phone face down and walked to Green Lake to disappear in public, where a little voice beside me said, "Are you sad?" And I met Harper, 6 years old. Maroon dress, shiny shoes. The kind of honesty only kids can afford. "You're pretty," she announced. "Like the princesses who don't need saving." And I felt something unfreeze. Her dad waved from a path, tall, careful, the type who sounds busy because he takes care of people. "I'm Daniel Pierce," he said. "Sorry. If my kid adopted you." And Harper rolled her eyes and told him I wasn't a stranger. I was Layla, and yes, pretty. Then she invited me to dinner without asking permission. And you know what? I said yes. Their brownstone in Queen Anne was warm wood and family pictures. Elena Ruiz met us at the door with an apron and the kind of smile that feeds you. Before the plate lands, the table felt like a steady dock after a rough river. Harper narrated her week like a sportscaster. I asked for nothing, and somehow got everything I needed: a seat, a laugh, a moment to feel human. Daniel asked what I did, and I told the truth, and I pour coffee downtown, and I'm good at names and reading people. He nodded like I'd said surgeon. Then he said, "I run Pierce & Partners. We build housing and community spaces. Our clients need someone who can keep them calm and informed if you want a reset. I've got a real job, not a favor, not charity. Think on it." I did, and by Sunday night I said yes. Monday morning I walked into Glass and Light, and Nerves Priya Shah, his no-nonsense right hand, said, "Welcome. We run this place like a neighborhood, not a machine. Here's your desk with a view. Here's your login. Here's a small bouquet signed in crayons. Welcome to the team, pretty Layla." Training came like a fire hose, but the water was warm. I took calls, wrote notes, learned how to turn panic into steps. Mrs. Ellison worried about grade 2 plumbing. "It's a fix, not a failure. Here's the order of operations by lunch." She sounded lighter by 5. I did too. Daniel stopped by with coffee and a folder of fig. "Fremont Townhomes, lots of eyes. I want you as primary client contact. Also, clothing stipend. Buy what makes you feel like you already belong." Priya took me shopping and taught me the gospel of a navy blazer that does half the talking. Harper phoned my desk to ask if I'd found the secret snack drawer. I said snacks are why adults pretend to love meetings, and her laugh cracked open the last bit of ice around my heart. Then the past stepped out of an elevator. Nathan, in a crisp suit with that soft voice he uses when he wants an outcome. "I made a mistake. I was scared. Let's talk. We can start slow counseling coffee, a smaller wedding later." I let him speak so I could hear the part where he found a spine. It didn't come when he reached for my arm. I stepped back. "I'm not angry. I'm finished. That's different." He was winding up for round 2 when the revolving door spun, and Harper barreled in with Daniel behind her. "Are you the man who made Layla cry on the internet?" she asked like a tiny judge. Nathan flushed, said it was complicated. She said, "My dad says you say sorry, and then you stop doing it." Daniel introduced himself with a nod that said, "We're done here. and Nathan shot a last line over his shoulder. Don't come crawling back when this man gets tired of the project. In the elevator, my hands shook. Raya handed me water. You handled that like a grown woman, she said. And I wanted to, but I also wanted to throw a stapler. We can want two things, right? Suddenly there were texts from numbers I didn't have, lunches I hadn't asked for, charity invites from people who used to look past me. I said no more than I said yes. And then Vivian Carver, Nathan's mother. Perfume first, entitlement second. Walked into my office without knocking. We're all human, dear, and my son is lost without you. Consider grace. I told her grace is a gift, not a bribe, and I wasn't coming back. She smiled that magazine smile and said, I was being short-sighted. Our family is infrastructure. These new friends are just visitors. I stood because posture is its own language. I'm not lost. I found the right door and opened it myself. The week after, Daniel came in tight. At the shoulders, I had lunch with Charlotte, Nathan's sister. She says 3 days before the wedding, his father gave him an ultimatum. Break it off or lose his place in the company and the board seat that comes with it. And yeah, there were gross comments about image and donors and who fits where. It wasn't that I wasn't enough, it was that I wasn't convenient, and that hurts different then. Daniel added the second blow. Nathan's been telling people you only got this job because of me, that you traded one wallet for another, and I felt my cheeks burn with rage, not shame. Do we sue? I asked. Do we send letters? Do we ignore the mud and keep walking? Daniel watched me the way you watch the ocean, aware there's more beneath the surface, and said, we'll do whatever protects you. And before I could decide if I was going to cry or laugh, he just told the truth out loud, because I'm in love with you. Quiet can be loud. You know, the office hummed outside the door. My heart stuttered, then steadied, and I said it back. Not because I owed him anything, but because somewhere between roast chicken and site visits, and the way he offered me a desk instead of a handout, I had fallen too. We kissed, not fireworks, more like recognition, and then we went back to work, because grown-ups do both. The win wasn't a headline. It was a Tuesday. Fremont families getting keys, a widow crying, happy in a kitchen that finally felt safe. A nurse saying, this commute will save my back. I signed up for night classes, 2 courses at a time. Daniel didn't make a speech. He sent a photo of the first textbook. With proud of you. Harper drew me a star chart. For days. I didn't quit. Elena taught me to roast vegetables like they mattered. My parents came for Sunday dinners with enough cornbread to feed a marching band. Nathan tried one last time at the farmer's market in a drizzle. He said, sorry, and this time it sounded like a sentence, not a strategy. I wished him a version of himself he could stand. Harper tugged my sleeve and whispered, we don't talk to ghosts, right? And I said we say goodbye to them and wish them peace, and that felt clean. We got married in a backyard on Bainbridge, not a cathedral. 27 people, a stubborn dog. Harper in maroon with a white sash and the solemn authority of petal captain. My dad cried in his toast. Priya made Daniel's uncle promise a scholarship for first-gen kids. Elena fed us like love. We wore simple rings. We danced under string lights. And when we went home, it was to a house that already knew us. And because stories don't end, they just reach the next decision point. An anonymous thread popped up a week later, cropped screenshots, a calendar snippet, a bruise-colored caption, when pretty meets power. Did she earn it or orchestrate it? Some folks called it what it was, a reach, a smear, a bitter man's last try. Others asked the hard questions about love and work, sharing a hallway about bosses and boundaries, about how women get punished for proximity to power. Whether they use it or not, someone reposted the chapel clip, because the internet never throws anything away. Maybe she planned it from the start. I closed the laptop because I refused to wrestle shadows. Daniel said we can sue, Priya said we can post receipts, Elena said. We can pray, Harper said. We can ignore people who say mean stuff to feel bigger. Maybe all four are right in their own way. Maybe the truth is that I was loved and not chosen. Then I chose myself. Then someone else chose me back without asking me to shrink. And I'm still here pouring calm into other people's big decisions, finishing papers at midnight. Learning that a navy blazer is just armor, not identity, keeping the old dress in a box to remember the weight I carried and put down. So tell me, if you've watched this far, what feels fair to you? When love and work share walls, when second chances look like shortcuts to people who don't know the map, when old money draws lines in polite voices and calls it taste. Should I fight the rumor in court, post evidence and set the record on fire, or starve it of oxygen until it dies? If you were Nathan, would you blow up your inheritance to tell the truth? If you were Vivian, what does an apology look like that isn't performance? If you were Daniel, where do you draw the line between protecting your company and protecting your wife? Drop your take in the comments. Argue with me respectfully. Tell me what you've lived and what you've seen. Like, if this hit a nerve, subscribe if you want more second chance stories told by the people who lived them. And share this with someone who needs to hear that the worst day isn't the last chapter. I'll be in the comments reading, learning, answering. Because sometimes the ending we're hunting for gets clearer when we write it together.